Hello, precious saints. Thank you for joining us in Son of Zion podcast. Now, we want to take a series called The Philosophy of the Fallen Man and Christology. We may take one or two episodes from this. The Philosophy of the Fallen Man and Christology. Now, the philosophy of the fallen man tends to justify the fallen nature. What we need to understand is, from the very beginning, God has an intention. Say, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let us make man in our image and after our likeness. But of course, we've done a broadcast with a friend, a brother, not Louis, about infiltration. And there I talk about the tripartite approach of Satan. Not talking about the loss of the eye, the loss of the flesh, and the pride of life. How the enemy comes to man. You always have these three coordinates. That's what we saw in the Garden of Eden with Eve. It was a tripartite approach, and immediately she looked at the fruit after talking with Satan. The fruit she has been seeing all this while, all of a sudden she said, "Oh, it is pleasant to the eyes, loss of the eye, it's good for food, loss of the flesh, and one that can make one wise, which is pride of life." Now the enemy comes through that, and we know that the flesh doesn't have the ability to weaken or to resist sin. In fact, what we see in law is that even though law comes, but it didn't have the ability to take away the power of sin. And that is the tragedy of the fallen epistle, most especially the book of Romans. You will see Paul talking about the fact that what the law could not do, in that it was made meaningless and powerless by the flesh, Christ coming in the form of the flesh has defeated sin in the flesh. Because no matter the law, the flesh has not, no matter the law, the flesh has the ability to subdue it. Now, think of it. You see at the pack of the cigarette, smokers are liable to die young. Smokers are prone to getting lung cancer. They will see it, they will still buy it. Law doesn't have power to stop sin. We talk about sexual transmitted disease, and yet people still commit sex, even without protection, because law has no power to deal with sin. Now, what Satan tries to also put in place is this philosophy, a lot of ideology. Because this ideology will make a mindset, and this mindset could build a stronghold. And if you begin to live by it, you have justification for your sin, you have justification for your fallen nature. So you don't press into God. And the unfortunate thing is not just that this is happening in the world, but it's even finding its place into the body of Christ. We are having different kinds of doctrine today in the name of liberty of the gospel, but they are actually appealing to this. There are many philosophies in place, but about three theories actually come to my mind anytime I think about this. That is existentialism, hedonism, and then the Freudian theory. When you talk about existentialism, they're talking about the freedom of choice, the freedom of life. The man has a right to live the way he wants to, just to exist. It's just to exist. So the issue of morality is not the man just live the way he wants to. And then we have hedonism that talk about pleasure seeking. For hedonists, they believe that what gives pleasure is good, what doesn't give pleasure is evil. So if sex, alcohol, drugs will give you pleasure, just go ahead. If killing will give you pleasure, just go ahead. And the aggressive campaign of the LGBTQ and the New Age movement that we see today are based on this. So somebody can just rise up and say, I feel I'm a woman. I feel I'm a man. And they're trying to push it into our throats to believe that this is true. It's a philosophy of the fallen man. And they are campaigning seriously. No, allow us. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. It's physiological. It's natural that you are a lesbian. It's natural that you are homosexual. They are fighting you. They are asking for their right. In fact, in trying to ask for their right, they're even intimidating other people to violate other people's rights. It's a philosophy of the fallen man, trying to justify wickedness. Unfortunately, it is getting into the church. People don't know the boundary between speaking the truth in love and tolerating evil, because we want to go by such philosophies. I saw a video clip of a woman trying to talk about her son, and she felt that her son should be given the right to be treated by veterinarians because he says he's an animal. And so a veterinary doctor said he cannot treat him because his physiology and anatomy is not like that of an animal. And for her, it's a case. She says she's not going to press charges, but she's trying to call the government of the day. It's one of the Western countries to look into it. I saw another video clip of some people who identify as dogs. They were backing in an area and asking the government to protect their right, the right of people who identify themselves as dogs. When temptation grows, it gives back to sin. When sin grows, it gives back to death. One thing you need to know is that sin gives back to death. It grows. Now we are seeing the growth of it. This is not the end of it. It will keep growing and keep growing. But when we come to the next episode, we're going to talk about Christology and the answer of Christ to this evil threat. Lord bless you till I come again our way.